Companion is directed by Drew Hancock and stars Jack Quaid, Sophie Thatcher, and among others. And in this story, it deals with a couple that end up going to a lake house for the weekend. And, well, it's pretty much given at this point from the trailers that there's something unexpected that happens with Sophie Thatcher's character, and essentially it becomes a game of cat and mouse. I'll leave it at there, especially for those of you who haven't really seen the trailers or anything, because there's some unexpected twists and turns the movie goes with that I don't really know how they really could have released the film without trying to avoid the marketing that and stuff, because it's one of those kind of movies that you've seen the trailers, you've seen the poster, you pretty much get the idea of what the movie's going for, because it really does give away a lot of stuff. But there is a really big important plot point that comes into play that the trailers and stuff doesn't really reveal. That I'll leave it at there. But I can definitely see why this was one of those kind of movies that maybe was kind of hard to market without really, giving away certain stuff. Or, if they had to take a different type of route with trying to take things very misleading, because it's pretty self-explanatory when you actually watch the film. Now, here's a little backstory. Now, this movie was produced by the guy that did Barbarian a couple years ago, and it had a very similar kind of marketing style where you're not too sure about what's happening, at least from the first teaser trailer and stuff like that. And I got really encouraged I did really enjoy Barbarian, despite some issues I had with the film that kind of left it really, a lot that left it to be desired at points. I did find it a little bit overrated, overhyped when it came out, but I still enjoy the film. But with that being said, though, this was actually something that I was actually interested in and curious about, because from the first teaser trailer, it got me really curious how it was going to play out, especially with some of the weird off-putting vibes that the movie gives away with, especially. Well, and this is just from the teaser trailer, how you see Sophie Thatcher looking at Jack Quaid and stuff, and how things are kind of mysterious and all that. It gets you that vibe. You're thinking in your head like, okay, how is this, what's really going on here? And so I didn't really, as far as I know, I didn't recall actually seeing the full trailer for this. So there's actually might be some things I'm missing on that, because the movie does actually give away some really big stuff in it, and it was kind of hard to avoid the film on certain TV spots and stuff because there was a really big spoiler that happens. So I'm just going to leave it at that. But the poster is also the main one, I think, that really has it off, that makes it give it away of pretty much everything that's you expect from the film. And so this is definitely one of those movies that you pretty much have to go in blind for if you wanted to really get, I think, probably the better experience out of. Because seeing how everything plays out in the trailers and stuff, when you watch it, it's like, okay, what's really going to be the surprise here with that? And so after upon seeing the film, I can honestly say, though, I still had a blast with this. Despite any of the issues that I may have had with seeing, certain snippets of clips and stuff, or TV spots, or anything with the poster that was kind of giving away certain things, I still found myself curious how the movie was playing out and being able to still engage with it, because in honesty, this was actually a really great movie that was not only able to blend in a lot of stuff that was unexpected, that I come to expect from it, the way it tackles certain stuff that has to do with certain themes and things that they actually do like a cool social commentary on in a good way on some things that I really don't want to reveal. But the way that the movie plays itself into the whole cat and mouse thing, I thought was not only very fun to watch, but also pretty, it kept me in for the ride, because it keeps piling on with more stakes that get higher and higher. And because as the story goes along, there's stuff that just keeps piling up that you're thinking, oh, it's going to go in one way, and then it goes to another, and then you think it's going to actually go. There's things that characters are pretty much predicting how they're going to get out of it, and then it does a 180 on you. I think that the screenplay does a really good job of being able to blend that with not only the stuff that we as the audience are kind of wanting to see what the characters are doing. That the characters are pretty much playing it out, but you can kind of see that we as the audience, we know that there's certain stuff that's going to probably happen. And then the actual dialogue, the way it plays out, especially with some of the funny moments that takes place with some of the supporting cast, the chemistry between Jack Quaid and Sophie Thatcher was not only very top notch. They very work well together, and I'm getting used to seeing Jack Quaid now in more of these type of movies, because ever since I've seen him in movies like Scream 5, and also from what I've seen of him on The Boys, I've really come to admire the guy as an actor, and he's really he's going places. And Sophie Thatcher, I can say the same. Ever since I've seen her in movies like The Boogeyman, and even last year we had Heretic, she is really becoming a really great actress of her own right, and especially in the horror field. And so I would love to see her in more movies like this. She's basically reminded me a lot like Mia Goth and like some other up and comers like Jenna Ortega and other ones that are really well known for doing like newcomers in the horror genre. I really get a kick out of her, and she really plays it well, especially the way that she comes across as very emotional, and the journey that she also goes through in the film I thought was very engaging as well. And just the surprises that take place here and there, especially some of the unexpected brutal stuff that happens, not only really was well done, but it was giving me that kind of vibe that I was having with Barbarian, and that you see some really unexpected shit happening, and I was like, wow, this movie goes for it. Not to the extreme like Barbarian did with its gore, but going to that level, but just some of the stuff that you're just like, oh shit, I didn't know it was going to go there. And so that was great. And then on top of that, I really got to appreciate the score in this, the way it kind of moves, and that kind of, it kind of plays it more like a romanticized type of film in a way too, like that mixes thriller elements in a way, which I actually think that could work if you take out all the thriller stuff, at least for about like the first I want to say 20 or 30 so minutes. It actually makes it seem like it could be like a nice little mini type of short movie or something, if you go into it not really knowing much about it. And then if I'm going to have to any kind of little minor con, I will have to say is that some of the rules they do kind of set up in the film of things that characters are doing, it does seem like it's kind of questionable at times, because there's a really big plot point that they set up early on in the film, and it almost seems like things do get a little too convenient the way it plays out toward the end. And I think that had the movie probably would have either touched base on more of it, or at least actually addressed some of the stuff that I was kind of questioning with in a more like either subtle way, or kind of had itself like better it went into more depth with it, it probably would have worked a lot better in that regard. But given for what it is, I still had a blast with this movie, and this is already so far the first great film we've had of this year. And so with that, I'm going to give it a low phenomenal grade on the Film Freaks meter. It may, if anything, it may be one of my honorable mentions of the year so far, or maybe in my best list. It just depends how the rest of the year goes. But I had a really great time with this. And those of you who have also seen Companion, let me know in the comments of what you thought about it. And thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next review. I'll see you later.